Hello, I'm Mark from Moonstone Publications. Welcome to this overview of some of the stories we've covered over the past week. But first, please hit the subscribe button and share this video with your friends and colleagues. Cyber incidents have been identified as the top global business risk for 2024. But in South Africa, corporates are more concerned about blackouts and critical infrastructure failures. This is according to Allianz's latest risk barometer. Cyber incidents were ranked as the second biggest concern in South Africa, followed by business interruption and natural catastrophes. The report warns that hackers are beginning to use artificial intelligence-powered language models to increase the speed and scope of ransomware attacks. The Financial Services Tribunal has found that feeling embarrassed for making so many errors or avoiding inconvenience to a customer is not an excuse for falsifying a customer's signature on a vehicle delivery note. Eastern Cape Motor Holdings debarred a finance and insurance marketer last year. What should have been a straightforward vehicle sale spiraled into a headache-inducing situation because of repeated errors on the documentation. When the delivery note was still found to contain errors, the rep copied the customer's signature from a previous delivery note and pasted it onto a new one. The rep said she felt embarrassed for making so many errors and did not want to cause inconvenience by calling the client in to sign another document. Moonstone Compliance will be hosting a series of informative employee law webinars this year. The first webinar, on the 28th of February, will focus on identifying and managing ill health in the workplace. There is no cost to attend the webinar, which will be presented by Andrea de Jong, Moonstone Compliance's privacy, governance and employment law specialist. The webinar will, among other things, equip managers to engage meaningfully with incapacitated staff and mitigate the impact on business operations. Squaring away the legislation required to implement the two-pot retirement system on the 1st of September may be delayed by the need to amend the Pension Funds Amendment Bill to provide for amendments to the statutes governing public sector retirement funds. National Treasury this week told the Standing Committee on Finance that it was advised after the tabling of the amendment bill that aspects of the government employees' pension law will have to be amended for state employees to participate fully in the two-pot system. Treasury is still assessing whether the statutes that established other public sector funds will also have to be amended. The budget deficit widened on a 12-month sum basis to 6% in December. Meanwhile, with an election looming, the government is under pressure to increase spending and deliver on promises such as national health insurance and an income grant. Our budget preview looks at the Finance Minister's options when it comes to collecting tax revenue. A relatively easy win for National Treasury is not to adjust the personal income tax brackets to account for inflation. The Financial Intelligence Centre is making an urgent appeal to estate agents and lawyers to submit the risk and compliance return that was due at the end of May last year. The Centre says non-submission of the return is severely hampering its ability to comply with the Financial Action Task Force's Action Plan for South Africa. The country will remain grey-listed unless it complies fully with the Action Plan. Of the 4 accountable institutions required by Directive 6 to submit the return, compliance among estate agents and lawyers is the lowest, and the FIC is issuing notices of intention to sanction. A financial planner apprehended last year for defrauding a fleet management services company of 4.7 million rand has been found guilty on 30 counts of insurance fraud. Sean Dorning redirected payments from his client that were intended for Momentum. The fraud came to light when the client lodged a claim. Momentum says the second client was allegedly defrauded by Dorning. He will be sentenced in April. Discovery Health Medical Scheme reports an encouraging improvement in cancer screening rates following the dip during the COVID pandemic. Its data also shows an increase of almost 8% in members claiming for cancer treatments and maintenance therapy last year compared to 2022. Discovery paid out more than 3.2 billion rand for cancer treatment and maintenance therapy between January and October last year, compared to 2.7 billion rand in the same period in 2022. That's all we have for this week. You can read these stories and many more on our website, moonstone.co.za. Until next time, here's wishing you all the best from the team at Moonstone Information Refinery.